Dear viewers, welcome to the Family Channel latest news. Watch the full video and give your valuable comments. Thank you. On the Family Channel, Pedro Jimeno developed into a villain, but he's not the only one. Corema Morla, Nicole Jimeno's closest friend, has a dubious background as well. Even though Corema Morla's portrayal on the Family Channel was merely a role, she revealed a darker side of herself. For 5 seasons prior to the series ending, the Family Channel mainly followed Chantal Everett and Pedro Jimeno's marriage and subsequent divorce. But it also included several other narratives involving members of the Jimeno and Everett families in Atlanta and the Dominican Republic. As Nicole Jimeno, Pedro's younger sister, best friend, Corema made several appearances in the show as a bitchy villain. On the Family Channel, Corema and Nicole were presented as lifelong closest friends. The two women were known for their cunning ways. When residing in their native Dominican Republic, they planned against Nicole's rival and now ex-sister-in-law Chantal. According to Haute Corporan, a confidant of Chantal and a former Jimeno family friend, Corema has been close friends with Nicole for a long time. Rumor has it that Corema dated Pedro back in high school. However, because of her demeanor, Corema has been painted as a villain from the Family Channel who is hostile towards Nicole. The fact that Corema is friends with Nicole is one overt indication that she is a cruel person. Corema is automatically guilty by association because of their tight bond. Nicole never had a redemption story and refused to grow up or accept responsibility for her crimes, in contrast to Chantal, who hasn't always been well-behaved on the Family Channel and didn't demonstrate maturity until the last 2 seasons. For a short while, Chantal and Pedro's younger sister were cordial, but as things became tense, Nicole set out to try to ruin Chantal's union with her elder brother. After that, Nicole was still obsessed with Chantal, and Corema was supporting her. When Chantal was in the Dominican Republic, Corema and Nicole were there for hangouts. During season 5 of the Family Channel, Ode told Chantal that prior to learning Spanish, Nicole and Pedro's other relatives and friends labeled Chantal ugly and made fun of how fast she fell in love with him. Subsequently, Chantal and her family accused Pedro and his family of having taken advantage of her from the beginning, even going so far as to call them predators. Throughout the show, Chantal's suffering delighted both Nicole and Corema. Although Corema's crush for Pedro is well known, she openly expressed her interest in him when he was still married to Chantal. This was a recurring subject in the Family Channel, and it was evident that Chantal was insecure. In one shady scenario, Nicole emailed Chantal the footage of Pedro and Corema dancing sensually together in the DR in an attempt to agitate her. Even though Pedro was already married, Corema gladly agreed to the scheme to enrage Chantal in the hopes that Pedro would become interested in her. Nicole's closest buddy openly and without hesitation attempted to swindle a married man. Corema publicly stated on the Family Channel that she agreed with Nicole's attempts to try to break up Pedro and Chantal. Corema confessed her feelings for Pedro and her wish to wrest him away from Chantal. She was able to flirt with Pedro as a result of his marriage. Because of Nicole's personal grudge against Chantal, she and Corema enjoyed trying to destroy Chantal and Pedro's marriage, and they smiled while they plotted. Both ladies had an inexplicable, intense desire to destroy Chantal's marriage to Pedro, as well as an abnormal obsession with her. When it comes to Chantal, it's obvious that Corema doesn't adhere to any kind of girl code. Not only did Corema make flirtatious films and flirt with Pedro, but she also allegedly lied to Chantal and withheld a significant piece of information from her, since Pedro had been unfaithful to her for years. A private investigator that Chantal and her mother, Karen Everett, engaged was able to verify Pedro's infidelity against Chantal. Ode, in the meantime, revealed to Chantal that Pedro and Corema had been dating since high school and had continued to hook up. Since Corema likewise didn't care about Chantal's feelings, she lacked the decency to tell her the truth when Pedro obviously wouldn't. When Pedro was finally divorced from Chantal and actually single, Corema had the opportunity to date him. Pedro and Corema shared a flirty meal before Corema admitted she was engaged. However, she still took a selfie with Pedro to share online, which upset Chantal. Corema seemingly only wanted Pedro when she couldn't have him, though she still maintained her flirty banter while engaged. Meanwhile, she didn't stop Pedro from taking and posting the photo, even though they both knew that it was a petty move intended to hurt Chantal. Corema seemed thrilled at the opportunity to be with Pedro. Overall, Corema showed herself to be egotistical in the family Chantal since she prioritized her wants over other sentiments. For self-serving purposes, she sought Pedro and persistently cooperated with Nicole's numerous plots to separate Chantal and Pedro. Despite the fact that reality TV shows are frequently manufactured, Chantal and Pedro's story was authentic since they dissolved their marriage amicably. Corema, meanwhile, may have known about Pedro's apparent plan to use Chantal from the beginning. She, however, persisted in working with Nicole to harass Chantal for the entire series. All of this paints Corema as a villainous figure from the family Chantal. This gossip is over. If you liked the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.